Dustin Lee Honan's execution and his powerful final words reveal a deep disconnect between his actions and the inner turmoil he experienced. In his final moments, he chose to recite a poem, perhaps as a way to seek peace and solace before facing the inevitable end of his life. Moving on to Nicholas Todd Sutton, he expressed heartfelt gratitude in his last statement, showcasing a complex emotional landscape filled with remorse and reflection. His final meal choices provide a glimpse into what brought him comfort amidst the looming reality of execution. The video captures the diverse reactions of those who have faced execution, ranging from silence to profound spiritual expressions. This beautiful variety illustrates the tremendous psychological impact that capital punishment can have on individuals at the brink of life and death. Danny Paul Bible, infamously known as the Ice Pick Killer, committed numerous heinous acts, including sexual assaults and murders from 1979 to 1983, before his execution in 2018. His extensive criminal history includes multiple uncharged offenses that haunt the memories of his victims. Then, we delve into the chilling case of Ricky Javon Gray, who was involved in the horrific Richmond spree murders. Over the span of just 7 days, he took the lives of 7 individuals, including innocent children, before facing the consequences of his brutal actions through execution. Kenneth Dwayne Williams, who escaped from prison and tragically committed more murders, ultimately faced his execution in 2017. In his final words, he expressed genuine remorse for the pain he inflicted on the families of his victims, offering a poignant reflection on the havoc he wreaked. Alfredo Rolando Pto, a Salvadoran-American serial killer connected to 9 murders, faced execution in 2015. His case raised critical ethical questions about mental disability and how it intersects with capital punishment, sparking a broader conversation about justice and humanity. The story of Thomas Otis Knight is another tragic reminder of the complexities within the justice system. His extensive record of multiple murders and a lengthy stay on death row culminated in his execution in 2014, showcasing the challenges of managing dangerous individuals in society. John Ruthal Henry, a convicted serial killer, made the stark decision to refuse a last meal before his execution in 2014. This act emphasizes the emotional weight of his final moments, and his remorseful last statement further reflects the psychological burden of his actions over the years. Several serial killers, including Ferguson and Franklin, committed unspeakable crimes and were ultimately sentenced to death. Their executions serve as a sobering reflection of justice being served for the victims and their families who suffered unimaginable loss. The abolition of capital punishment in Virginia signifies an important shift in the legal landscape, with Robert Charles Gleason Jr. being the last person executed there. This moment stands as a testament to evolving societal views on justice, compassion, and the moral implications of punishment. The final meals and statements of executed prisoners, including Robert Charles Gleason Jr. and David Allen Gore, offer profound insight into their last thoughts and emotions. These moments humanize individuals who, in many cases, have committed monstrous acts, reminding us of the complexity of humanity. The video narrates the poignant story of Thomas Warren Weissenhant, who spent an astounding 32 years on death row before his execution in 2010. His last meal was a simple yet symbolic choice of chicken leg quarters and chocolate pudding, reflecting perhaps a yearning for comfort in his final moments. Franklin Dwayne Alexander, a rapist and serial killer, carried out a series of brutal murders during a crime spree in the late 1990s. His execution in 2010 concluded a horrifying chapter in a life filled with violence, as he notably declined a final meal, perhaps signifying a resignation to his fate. John Allen Muhammad, notorious for his role in the D.C. sniper attacks, was executed in 2009 after the tragic loss of 17 lives. His last meal included chicken, red sauce and cake, illustrating the mundane choices that juxtapose the horrific nature of his crimes. Alvin Andrew Kelly, responsible for multiple murders, including that of an innocent infant, expressed deep remorse in his final statement before his execution in October 2008. His words shed light on the capacity for reflection, even in the darkest of souls. Danny Harold Rowling, infamously known as the Gainesville Ripper, brutally murdered 5 college students in 1990. His terrifying actions not only claimed lives but also inspired the Scream film franchise, reflecting the eerie legacy of his crimes. Edward Lewis Iron tragically fatally shot 3 family members, including a child. In his final moments, His words indicated a striking lack of bitterness towards his fate, reminding us of the complex emotions that accompany such dire circumstances. John Michael Hook was executed in 2003 for multiple murders, and his final words were casual, almost dismissive. Starting his life of crime with a teenage manslaughter conviction, his journey serves as a cautionary tale of choices that can lead one down a dark path. Robert Wesley Nawn, executed in 2003, was part of a violent killing spree that left deep scars on the community. His last meal featured a pepperoni pizza, and he expressed gratitude to his attorneys, a moment that starkly contrasts with the severity of his actions. Juan Rodriguez Chavez, known as the Thrill Killer, was executed in 2003 after a gruesome trail of 11 murders. In a moment of vulnerability, his remorseful final statement sought forgiveness from the victims' families, highlighting the often unrecognized remorse that can exist even in the darkest of hearts. Burt Leroy Hunter's execution in 2000 drew attention as he was known for the heartbreaking murders of an elderly woman and her son in Missouri. His case exemplifies the tragic ripple effects that violent crime has on families and communities. Daniel Joe H., a spree killer, tragically shot 5 people during a frightening rampage in Texas in 1989. This serves as a stark reminder of the pressing dangers of gun violence within society, urging us all to reflect on the broader implications of such tragedies. Lastly, Edward Castro's case offers a unique perspective as he chose to advocate for his own execution by waiving his appeals. This raises profound questions about autonomy, personal agency, and the nature of justice in a world where such difficult choices must be made.